Hello again, and welcome everybody to Blurring the Lines with Jeffrey Walker, presented by Australians in Film. I'm thrilled this week to have a very dear friend and an incredible actor, Ann Dowd, star of The Leftovers, The Handmaid's Tale, and a personal favourite of mine, Lambs of God, as well as Compliance, which is a brilliant film. We'll be chatting a bit about those today and everything else. Ann Dowd, welcome. Welcome to the show.
What a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I have no idea what I'm going to ask you today, but let me start with this. I've been researching your various awards, Ann, and I'm going to start with these. Are you ready?
Sure.
An Emmy, a couple of extra Emmy nominations, a Golden Globe nomination, and a SAG nomination, but all of them pale into insignificance compared to the 3 Jeff Awards that you've won. And as a Jeff myself, a little offended I wasn't consulted. But what is a Jeff Award? Why haven't I heard of it?
I don't think you were born, to be frank.
Okay.
Oh, I'm embarrassed. See, you did this on purpose. I'm so annoyed. But let's move on. It's an award. So there were 2 levels. There were in non-equity Jeff Awards, named after the wonderful Jeff Walker, yet to be born. And there were equity, And the thing that I loved about them, don't you just try to let go of the desire for an award? You really try to do, and it's a smart thing to do, because the work is the work, and let's keep the focus there. But when someone says that wasn't half bad, good for you. And these were roles that mattered to me. So that was lovely. And the final one was for The Normal Heart. Larry Kramer just died, the author of The Normal Heart, a tremendous AIDS activist. And to be part of something that was so current, and to have an audience so full of gay men weeping, and not just gay men, but weeping for the loss of their friends, and no one knowing why, and where was the support. To be in a theater doing a play that spoke to the minds and hearts of those in the audience was privilege.
Let's dive in. So Compliance. I mean, really, it's like the film is a thesis. There's a philosophy about obedience. How much obedience to authority are we capable of? And it goes back even to history of psychology studies that try to explain things like Nazi Germany. Like how can a nation turn? Tell me about that adventure into the world of Sandra and Compliance.
Oh, loved it. First of all, Craig Zobel wrote it impeccably, in my opinion. I didn't have any question about what she did from start to finish. So her actions made so much sense to me. It never occurred to her to say, hang on a minute, it's Friday night and I'm running this place, and we got some things we don't have. I understand you have a problem here. I'm happy to help, but you're going to have to come and handle this. I can't keep this woman here. I can't do it. I need to do my job. Couldn't do it. And the thing that broke my heart slightly is when I watched this woman on whom this character is based on 2020.
Yeah.
And the poor thing, she had a really savvy reporter. And I wanted to say, yeah, you're good and you're sharp, but you're missing the point. This woman doesn't have it. So let's get a little compassion in there and get real on who you're talking to. Because if something happens in your life where you are brought to your knees, like Sandra should have been in this case, how is it possible that I allowed this to happen? Who am I? And you have a nervous breakdown, because that's where you ought to go. Because everything you thought you believed in, you don't. There is no structure based on what you believe that will support what just went on. And it's like the play Doubt. Remember the play Doubt?
Yes, yeah.
Brilliant. What she realizes at the end is she gets the gift of doubt, and her world falls apart. And then she can begin again. And then her life is authentic, because she begins to question authority. Sandra, that woman in 2020 couldn't do it. My heart broke for her. Well, you would have done the same thing. No. And they would give her evidence. Yeah, but when you went in the room, you saw that she was no, I didn't see that. Oh, honey. Okay, you can't do it. I get it. Anyway, Okay, that's my thought about compliance. Loved it. We shot it in 13 days.
It's, I heard you talk about it once where you were saying someone was
Sorry.
asking you quite a very specific question about a scene. You were like, I think that was about hour 15.
We went right into evenings. There was no gradual, none of it, because we worked in a chicken flipping place, and so they were open until 9 o'clock at night or whatever. So we got in afterwards. My children were young. You're not saying to them, I'm working, so I'm not going to see you for the day because I'm going to be sleeping. It just doesn't happen. So you get there and you think, oh my God, I'm up all night. And by 3 a.m., the prayer was, and I swear to God, I would go in a corner, I'd start praying, help me to care. Help me to care. Please remind me that this is actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? When you get notes, you think, what? But that was the beauty of that film, and and the challenge of like, what? Oh yeah, right. But then you snap too. And Craig Zobel was great. The crew, everybody, the cast loved, and the story I loved.
When I talked to you about Handmaids, one thing that I've spoken to you a little bit about before, and a little bit of what this show zeroes in on, is the collaboration of artists working on things together. And one person that I am so in awe of is Elisabeth Moss, who you've now gone a journey in front of the camera, but also behind the scenes, because she's not a producer by title, as you've explained to me. She's a producer of that show, and really, has a lot. Yeah, she really has, enormous amount to do with it. And one thing that I've thought about with Elisabeth over the years is that I have a theory that when she joins a project, she can't just get on and, sit in the carriage and away that train goes, is that she actually affects the DNA of that project. And if you're an artist and you're in the film and television business and you're in one hit in your life, it's a miracle. I mean, it really is a miracle. And then you think about Elisabeth Moss going from West Wing to Mad Men to Handmaids to Top of the Lake, and then doing The Square, and then at the time of the coronavirus all happening and theaters shutting down, she had the number one film in the world in The Invisible Man. So there's something so magical about what she does to a project. And how was your working relationship with her, and what did you notice or admire about that collaboration?
Elizabeth, well, we call her Lizzie.
Lizzie.
I call her Elizabeth because I think, hey, now it's time. We're moving on to Elizabeth. The old aunt saying, no more Lizzie, we're moving on.
Yes.
She's an extraordinary person. She's a very, very unusual person. Beautiful spirit, terrific sense of humor. I can't tell you how that comes into play at 3 a.m. She's a born leader, no question. Never expresses fatigue except in unison with others. Never shows up with an attitude of any kind other than can't wait to get going. And not the kind you want to say, oh, could you tone it down? None of that. She's fiercely attentive to what matters to her. And she's extremely aware. That's clear as can be from the get-go. She is a crew person. She is a cast person. She has no desire to attack any living soul. It's all through respect for the work. And that, because of that and her intelligence, she has a way into anybody because it's genuine and real. And there's no desire to conquer. There's no desire to say my way or no way. Here are my thoughts. She's passionate about them. I mean, we've sat down and worked through scenes and said, what about this? What about that? Together as equals, meaning she claims no superiority over anybody. She's phenomenal to play with. There are times I wanted to take her by the neck and throw her down and say, "You get it together, little old June Osborne. Get it together, you little." I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. She presents as the real thing on every single level. I don't know what else to say about her. She's a true friend to me. She's my colleague. I love her. I'd do anything in the world with her. we're working on some things we do in the future.
Oh, great.
Dying to get on a stage together, because I mean that's got to be something else. I have nothing but praise for that woman. Period.
Yeah, she's. I think the other thing that you notice too when you're sort of a student of that series, and because it elicits such a visceral reaction, Handmaids. You know that you can't just watch it. You're never going to just watch Handmaids. It will have an impact on you. And I think that she seems to me like someone who will investigate the stakes probably harder than anyone else could in that role. You know, a unique sort of performance to her is that it can be a moment on the other side of a closed door that we're privileged to see as an audience that no one else in the world sees, you know, someone at their most vulnerable, whatever it might be. And I think those moments are as rewarding as the big scenes and everything else that, you know, kind of go with it all.
Yeah. I will say, as we were filming, and the reality of Trump, which I always thought was a joke, that anyone could take him seriously. I didn't think it could happen. Just thought, come on now, listen to what he's talking about. Listen to the way he says it. Who would believe in this man? You know, God help him down the road, but this isn't his job. And then as we got closer to, I don't even mean that in a religious sense. I just want to be clear there. Wherever one's gifts come from, however one thinks about where one's gifts come from, that's what I mean by whatever prayer one says, however you show gratitude for what you have in front of you. That's really what I mean, you know. But at any rate, then as time got closer, here he was, the candidate. And to be on a Handmaid set with that nightmare coming true, and the great gift of being able to perform in this, which was a form in a way of activism, even though Lydia on some level would have been on his side, just to be able to participate in something that put words to and form to, hello, put your phone down, because look, and stay aware, stay alert. Don't let the small things go by. Don't do it. And I remember being home in New York when he was elected, and I saw where it was going, and I went to bed at midnight because I couldn't bear that it was true. And I woke up in the morning, and at the door, you know, outside our door was the huge headlines that he had won. And I went back to bed for the day in sort of despair. And I remember texting Lizzie, and I said, whatever are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because Canada felt sorry for us. I mean, the world at this point, I mean, they probably feel a fair amount of disgust. But there's got to be a bunch of pity too. What's going on in that country that has so much potential? And what are you doing? What's happening? And I said to Lizzie, I don't know what to do. She said, don't let the bastards grind you down. And I thought, that's it. That's it. That's the only way forward here.
Yeah.
Don't let the bastards grind you down.
Now, up until very recently, the project that we'd collaborated on, Lambs of God, you had not seen. And then you showed it to your family about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then you watched it about a week or so ago. What do you think, Annie? Give me the verdict.
I could not believe what I was seeing. I'm not kidding. I literally forgot I was in it. And I don't mean to be egocentric where it's like, oh, I can't watch myself. It's not that. It's the filming is usually so powerful. You're like, I don't need to see it just yet. I'll see it in 5 years. My jaw was, the enormity of the story, the power of the story, the performances of everybody. So many I didn't even meet. The direction, I wonder if I'll meet this guy again, Jeff Walker. The writing, the way it was shot, McAlpin. I didn't know where we were. I thought, where is this happening? Where is this power coming from? The beauty of what I'm seeing. I was on that set. I was there. But this is to the exponential. I
Could you remember the structure of it when you were watching? So were you surprised by the story and so on, or do you remember that?
No, because we shot it sort of out of sequence, as you know.
Sort of.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
sort of. And so somewhere when you go out in the last 3 weeks and you're in the Blue Mountains and you flip, I just somehow think that's how it goes. I was like, oh, you're kidding. That's when, I mean, I was literally going, well, yeah, oh no, but, oh my God. That's the whole thing. I just thought, are you, I'm in this? In addition to the magnificence, I got a chance to be in it. Yeah, I don't have words enough. That is a remarkable piece of work.
I'm so glad you're happy with it.
I
I was so nervous. I knew you'd had a nice experience because you'd shared that with me, and that meant a huge amount. But then I was nervous that sometimes the experience is different from the result for actors. I've heard it anecdotally many times over, but I'd hoped that you were, proud of it and happy for all of yourself and for your co-stars.
Weren't they fabulous? You come to a place where you think, you know what, all you can do is the very best and put everything you have in it, and then you got to let go of it. I'm sorry if this sounds like, just relax, say something else, but you do that. You have to, and then you let go of it because you can't invest in something you don't then have control over.
Yeah.
And so then for it to not only be as wonderful as the experience, but then to go up about 60 notches, I was just, wait a minute, what? I couldn't believe it. I just remember on that big old rock where I cried all the way down because I realized I'd had nightmares about it all my life. But that view was so stunning. And what happened in the enormity of this story and the vastness of the terrain. My God. And those lambs and sheep and everything. Loved it.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, I had probably as enjoyable as an experience as I've ever had going that journey with you, Annie. I mean, by the end, I remember there was something on like the second last day of shoot that was quite serious that you came to talk to me about. It was to do with Sam and his makeup and a broken ankle and how we're going to depict this and what, but I just loved you so much by that point that I couldn't even have a serious conversation without smiling warmly at you. And you're going, Jeff, this is quite serious, but I just loved you. And I knew I was only going to get to spend on this show one more day with you. And so I did deal with it as seriously as I could. And I gave the big professional director answer, but secretly I couldn't stop smiling at you that we're having this, and you were in your fantastic wig and the thing. And I had a moment outside of myself, which I often don't do. Usually you reflect upon those things of just saying, this has just been a joy. Like how lucky to see the way that you nuns used to appear around the corner in the forest, which is where your trailers were or whatever. You'd just like come out of the smoke in the morning and there you would be all made up, ready to go. We'd shoot for 8 hours or 9 hours and then you'd drift away and I'd never see you, outside of that world.
And then the lovely people who shepherded us from base camp. Come on now. Come on. No, breakfast is in fact over. You know what I'm saying? And they all were so lovely. And they'd pick us up at flipping dawn. And we were like, and they'd be, come on. How do you say it, matey, or however? Sorry, cliche. But just the loveliness and the friendliness and how they got us through the day, Anyway.
Well, I had a feeling we were going to get along because when you arrived, we were in the middle of sandpaper on a cricket ball gate. I don't even know if that's what they called it. And you were straight on that. You said, this feels like Deflategate. I need to have an opinion of this. And I think very early on you were meeting our crew and you were like, what do you think about using sandpaper on a cricket ball? Seems like you guys like to cheat a little over here, like instantly. You needed to slide into the conversation of the moment.
I loved it so much.
Annie, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you everybody for watching and I hope that they've enjoyed it. You've just ticked over 100 credits, Annie, on IMDb, which is no small feat. And also, you started this interview with 3 Jeff Awards, and I'm going to give you your 4th. And this Jeff couldn't give it to a more deserving person. So,
thank you.
There it is.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Received. Thank you so much, Annie. I love you very much, and I can't wait to work with you again and see you again soon.
I love you too. Thank you.